Hello, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to another session on engineering graphics with me, Yash Chawla from Parul Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to start with the final chapter of engineering graphics of the syllabus of Gujarat Technological University. Up till now we have covered 8 chapters, starting from introduction up till orthographic projection, which was covered yesterday, and we solved a few problems. Today we are going to begin with isometric projections. So let's see, what are we going to have today? Introduction on isometric projections, then we are going to discuss important points related to it, and then we will see a few illustrations that are there with relation to isometric projections. First of all, let's know what is isometric projection and what does this isometric mean. Now, as we saw in orthographic projections, that a 3D figure is given to us, and we have to draw the plan, elevation, and front view, top view, and all these kind of things, front view, top view, side view of these 3D figure that is given to us. Here it is totally different. It is totally opposite of what we do in orthographic projection. In orthographic projection, as I told you, 3D figure is given to us, and we draw a 2D figure, that is top view, front view, side view, and back view, and all those views that we discussed yesterday. In isometric projections, what will happen is that we'll have these 2D figures. We'll have the front view, we'll have the top view, we'll have the side view, and looking at that front view, top view, side view, or any of the two views, we will have to draw this 3D image that is there. So yesterday what we did was, to know isometric, to know the orthographic projection, we used to unwrap the 3D, say if it was a cube, then we used to unwrap it, and we used to have a plane which was the orthographic projection. Here it is going to be opposite to that. What we are going to have this 2D plane, and then we are going to wrap it to have a 3D object, so that we have our isometric projection. So now, how do we recognize that it is an isometric view or isometric projection that we have drawn? If the view of the object, if the view of any object has all the 3 dimensions visible, that is, its length is visible to you in some way or the other, its height is visible to you, and its width is visible to you. If all these 3 things are visible to you, then it is known as an isometric projection or isometric view of any object. Now, there are various important points related to it. The important point is that all the 3 axes which are there, the 3 axes which you see, as I said, length has to be there, width has to be there, and height has to be there. All these will be parallel to a single axis, that x, y, and z coordinate system. So these x, y, and z coordinate system will be at 120 degrees with respect to each other. That is, x will be at 120 degrees with respect to y as well as with z, and similarly y and z will also be at 120 degrees with each other. So all the 3 axes will be at 120 degrees with respect to each other, forming a coordinate system that will accommodate the isometric view of this the 2D figures, or the 2D views that are given to us. Okay, and another important thing that we get from this is that, and from an isometric view, looking at the figure itself, we can get all the dimensions in the sense that we can have the length also, we can have the width also, and we can have the height also from a single figure. Now there will be reduction in scale. That is, the length will become apparent length, it won't be actual length, but we will know that by what scale the length has been reduced. So we will be able to calculate the exact length just looking at the figure, and accordingly we can implement it in drawing orthographic projections as well. And if we have the orthographic projection, we can draw the isometric projection, that is vice versa. Right. To understand the overall shape, size, appearance, and the final workpiece that has to be produced, it is very important that an isometric view is available to us. Now you can see this is a yellow box you can see the yellow box in front of you. Now there are, as I told you, 3 dimensions have to be seen. Now first of all, let's look. I am using a red pen to mark this this is the height of this block which is there, this is the width of the block which is there, and finally this is the, say we have the height, we have the breadth, and this is the length that we have. So this is what I'll name it as h. This is height, this is breadth or say width, and this is L, that is length. So all the three views are visible to me, and if you see that this angle is 120 degrees, again this angle would be 120 degrees, and finally this angle also will be 120 degrees. Now it is not just the case with this yellow box. If you see this blue section, say blue box as well, what will I'll again mark, this is the height, this is the height, this is the breadth, and this is the length of this piece which I have drawn right now. Now again this is 120 degrees, this is 120 degrees, and this is 120 degrees. The same thing you can find in any of these blocks which are available on your screen, be it this one, be it this one, be it this, any of them will always follow this rule that it's all the three faces, or say or all the three lines will be at 120 degrees with respect to each other. Yeah, so now the next thing is that we know that the lines which are these lines, the lines that we say that are at 120 degrees with each other will always be these are known as isometric lines, and these will always be parallel to the principal axis. Say if I have the line xy, then it will be parallel to one of the principal axis, either the vertical plane, either the profile plane, or either the horizontal plane that we have. So these lines are parallel, and the faces that are created that will also be parallel to the principal principal planes of that will be there on the that will be there. So when we draw an isometric view or projection, as I told you, the true length becomes an apparent length. So how are we going to determine that what is the ratio between true length and apparent length? Then this is how the difference comes. See, this is a rectangle that is given to you. Now this rectangle ABCD, this is the this is, you can say that this is the top view, or you can say that this is the orthographic view, in which all the dimensions are true dimensions. And now when I go this is the ortho view, and now I have the front view and the top view. When I am drawing it in isometric system, these both are, this is, say I'll name it as A dash and this as A double dash. These both are isometric views, that is front view and top view. Now for front view and top view, as you can see, the length from A to D has either increased or decreased. You won't be able to make out by looking at it, because these are not at proper dimension, these are just made to illustrate you. Now these dimensions, say AD, BC and AB and CD, these are the four dimensions that can alter. And by what ratio will they alter? They will alter by the ratio of 0.815, or so you can say that 9 by 11, that you can 9 by 11, that this is the reduction scale, that in original figure, if say if this is 1 centimeter, any of these are 1 centimeter, then in the isometric scale it will be 0.815 centimeter. This is what isometric scale is. How to derive isometric scale? Now the next thing comes is how to derive an isometric scale. So for an isometric scale, what we will do is, first of all, we'll draw a line at 45 degrees. This is 45 degrees, and this line from A to D has been drawn, and then these marks have been taken as you can assume it at 1 inch each. So this is 1 0 1 2 3 4, so they have named it. So this is at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch and 5 inch, we can assume that. And now for an isometric scale, what we need to do is we need to draw a line at 30 degrees. So this is 30 degrees, and Again, A to C, this is for isometric. This was real scale, and this was isometric scale that you have, that is from A to C. AC is the isometric scale, and the real scale is A to D. Again, I'll write it down once. AC is the isometric scale, and AD is equal to, it is real scale. Right. So what now, the next procedure that we need to do is, from all these points, this point, this point, this point, 0, 3 and 4, we need to drop perpendiculars on these lines. Say I'll start from 3 to 3 dash. This is a perpendicular that has been dropped on B. So this perpendicular intersects at this point. Now this point is 3. So this scale has started to form. Again, this is perpendicular and it intersects at 2. Similarly, this intersects at 1, and so on. This intersects at 0. So A to 0, this I'll take it as 0 dash, 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash and 4 dash. So 0, A to 0, this length, these all are isometric lengths, as you can see, and these are smaller than this by the ratio of 0.815, which we saw in the previous slide. Okay, let's move on to see a few isometric views, simple shapes which are there of isometrics. This is a pentagonal pyramid with its base on HP. Now first of all, let's see, this is a pentagon that is there, that is from A, B, C, D to E. This is a pentagon which has been made, and this is the center of the pentagon, from which there is a line which has been erected perpendicular to the plane. So this, the whole plane, this is HP. This 1, 2, 3, 4 is HP. This line 1, 2, 3 and 4, this is HP on, and the base of this pentagonal pyramid is lying on HP. So we have the base on HP, and it is a pentagonal pyramid because it has 5 sides, and these are meeting at this point, which can be denoted by O. Similarly, there is a cylinder which is lying on HP. Now again, we will take this point as 1, 2, this is 3, and finally that point at the back would be 4, that is this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is again HP, and the cylinder is lying on HP. So this is what we have. Now you can see that this is one view which is available, that is, you can say, either the front view, this is the side view which is there, and this is the top view which is available. So all the 3 dimensions are available, so it is an isometric view. Again, here also we have this 1 dimension, 2 dimension, and finally the 3 dimension which is there. So we can say that this is the face, or you can say the top. So it gives the top view, this is the front view, and finally this is the side view if the observer is observing from here. So this is an isometric view. Another example of isometric view. Now this is an not a hexagon, this is a pentagon. This is a pentagonal pyramid which is lying on HP. Why pentagon? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 5 sides which are there, and it is lying on HP. This is HP. As you can see, again 1, 2, 3, and the 4th part is absent somewhere behind this pentagonal pyramid. So A1, this is A, B, C, D and E is a pentagon, and this is the pyramid that we have. So if you are looking, the top view would be from here, the front view would be from here, and the side view would be from here. So all the three dimensions are visible. So it is an isometric view. Again, this is an hexagonal pyramid, which is sorry, it's not a pyramid. This is also not a pyramid. This is a prism. Hexagonal prism. Pyramid is which has one top. It should be as you saw in the previous one. So this base is on HP, as you can see, and this is the face also. It is common. So it is a prism, and it has both the views. This is 1, this is 2, and finally we have the height. So all the three are visible. Okay, so now let's get down to solving a few examples of isometric view. Now this is one first example that is given to us. Now this is a frustum of a pyramid, a square pyramid. A square pyramid. Why a square pyramid? You can see that this is the top view which is given to us. So from here, this is a square, and it should actually have been extended. Say I'll draw by dotted line. I'll show you that what it should have been extended. It should be a real pyramid. This dotted line shows you that it should have been a real pyramid. Now what must have happened is that we have cut this from this line. So this is the frustum of a square pyramid that is visible to us. Now that height of the frustum from the bottom till the top surface is 60. Now we'll take it in mm. We'll consider dimensions in mm. So 60 mm should be the height, and this is the front view that is there, and 20 mm is the height, is the width of this square which is formed at the top here. So right, and this is the bottom. This is 40 mm. So this point, the distance between this point is 40 mm, as you can see, and this is the base square. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to build a 3D model of this. We should have all these dimensions which are there. The height, it is there. The slant should be visible, and this part